Manchester United again under Erik ten Hag throw away a 2-0 lead in Europe and walk away with 1 point against Porto away from home. Manchester United have now conceded 3 goals in 3 out of 9 games just this season. Here's 5 things we learned in maybe under 5 minutes. Number 1. As much as Manchester United struggle to score goals, the biggest issue in Erik ten Hag's flawed system is the fact that they leak in way too many goals. Under Erik ten Hag, in the last 18 months in particular, and specifically in this game against Porto, opponents know how to attack Manchester United and where to hurt them the most. 1 minute into the game, Porto already attacked Manchester United with a ball in behind against Lisandro Martinez, a player who looks very different to the player that Manchester United purchased a couple of seasons ago. Teams also know that Manchester United struggle to defend against cutbacks, crosses coming from the wide areas, and there's no surprise that that is how Manchester United conceded a goal today. In a very flawed system that Erik ten Hag is trying his best to make it work at Manchester United, it's very evident that this is a big issue. Number 2. 600 million plus spent. That's how much Erik ten Hag has spent at Manchester United so far. And despite that, 12 months on from an embarrassing result against Galatasaray in the Champions League, Manchester United looked no different today against Porto. That's even after another 200 million was spent and Erik ten Hag got some of the players that he's been pushing to get. And that comes to my third point. In game, Erik ten Hag makes some very questionable substitutions. Marcus Rashford was arguably Manchester United's most impressive player going forward. Despite getting a goal and an assist for that Rasmus Højlund chance, Erik ten Hag took Marcus Rashford off at half time. He was Manchester United's biggest threat, and despite that, Erik ten Hag came out after the game to suggest that it was purely down to rotation for taking Marcus Rashford off, and that Garnacho was his best player on Sunday in the 3-0 defeat to Spurs. Well, if Garnacho was the best player in a 3-0 defeat, then he probably was not that good because Manchester United lost. And number 4, with Manchester United conceding so many goals under Erik ten Hag, here's a stat for you. Manchester United have gone 2-0 up in their last 4 European away games and have not won any of those games. As well as that, Manchester United have won 1 out of their last 10 games in Europe under Erik ten Hag. So it's not only humiliation in the Premier League, but Manchester United are being humiliated in Europe's top competitions under Erik ten Hag. Number 5, last but not least, Manchester United's system is heavily flawed under Erik ten Hag. If a system requires 100% perfection and no margin for error, then that is a system that will not succeed. Erik ten Hag emphasizes a lot on the idea of recoveries, retaining turnovers and winning second balls. But why should you have to give away the ball in the first place to be able to compete to get the recovery for the second chance? It just simply doesn't make sense at all. When Manchester United try to build up from the back, a lot of the time they end up going long for an aerial duel that they tend to lose most of the time. As a result, they tend to try and win the second chance, and they don't always do that. Erik ten Hag's system is heavily flawed. It's reliable on athletic players that can cover every single blade of grass, and for me that is a flawed system, because when your system brings out the bad side and the weaknesses in your players rather than the positives and the abilities that they excel in, that is a system that is not going to succeed. It's not going to succeed at Manchester United, no matter how hard Erik ten Hag tries to make it. Another reason why I think it won't succeed is very evident that players are finding it difficult to buy into this system that sees them getting cut open game in, game out. It could be Crystal Palace, it could be Porto, it could be Spurs, it could be Liverpool, it could be Fulham, it could be anyone. Manchester United are guaranteed to get carved open in the midfield, attacked on the wide sides, and cutbacks galore in the box for the defenders to defend against. And it's as simple as that. Erik ten Hag's system is not going to work. Whether Ineos decide to part ways or not with Erik ten Hag, going into every game where it could possibly be your last game should show you where you are at your career as Manchester United manager. And you guys know what it is. If you're new here, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. I didn't even get to talk about Bruno Fernandes's red card, so I hope you guys can see how agitated I am after that Porto result. For a captain to get sent off in a consecutive game again. Let me know what you guys thought about the Porto result and how you're feeling going into Villa on Sunday. Make sure you hit the like button, guys, and if you're new here, please do subscribe.